Welcome back to the Todd Durkin Impact Show, the podcast dedicated to lighting you up with inspiration, motivating you to be better in all areas of your life, and igniting action inside of you so that you can ultimately create more impact in this world that so desperately needs you. On every Impact Show, we dive into mindset, health set, leadership, and something personal so that I can coach you to be the very best version of yourself. With that, it's time to dive into today's Impact Show episode. Today's Todd Durkin Impact Show podcast is brought to you by Impact X Performance. Are you ready to change more lives? Do you want to be part of a dynamic team dedicated to changing the world? And are you ready to step into the next chapter of your life where you can impact even more people? If so, today is the day. That's right, my friends. Impact X Performance is dedicated to be a cutting-edge facility where we can bring you fitness, recovery, faith, and life coaching all under one roof. If you're looking to create even more impact in your community, today is the day. Visit ImpactXFranchise.com. That's ImpactXFranchise.com and take a look at all of the opportunities that exist for you to create even more impact. That's ImpactXFranchise.com. I'll see you there. Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And oh my goodness, you're in for a treat today. Last week, I shared with you on the episode that you got to listen into the American Ninja Warrior show and see my man Greg Justice do his thing. And boy, oh boy, did he do his thing. Matter of fact, not only did the old dog teach us some new tricks, Greg Justice is on the Impact Show today after a whirlwind tour. Greg, welcome to the Impact Show, brother.
Hey, I couldn't think of another place I'd rather be. Thanks, Todd.
Man, it's been a crazy week for you. I know you had a lot going on, and you had watch parties, family parties, TV appearances, radio, podcast, it's like Radio Row at the Super Bowl here. So I appreciate you carving out some time for us. You're back in Kansas. And, man, I just want to step back for someone maybe who did not see the American Ninja Warrior show. You at age 63 ripped through the course and so proud of everything you did. Tell us about the experience.
Well, I said it before, it was so much fun. I honestly, if they called me, but while we're doing this podcast, I'd have to step away and head back to Vegas to do it all again. It was that fun. And, as here I sit before you all, I'll turn 65 this year. And the coolest thing is in this sport, I'm just a rookie because this was the first time I'd ever done it. In the context of competition in front of the world. And it was an experience that I'll never forget, will treasure forever, and can't wait to do again.
Yeah. Greg, bring me through the course. So in your head, your mind, you're on the platform. Just so, again, if someone did not see it, bring me through it. And again, it doesn't matter what your age is, but here you are at age 63 when you competed, correct? 60 when you competed, and you're up on the platform. You're one of the older contestants, and here you are. Bring me through kind of the course. Bring me through the mental mindset part.
Well, first of all, the scale is so much greater than you can imagine, because even at the gym I compete at or train at, the obstacles can't match the pure size of those obstacles in Las Vegas. The entire season was shot in Las Vegas this year. First time they've ever done that. And truth be told, when I walked up on stage, it was 4 a.m. local time in Las Vegas. I had been up for 26 consecutive hours.
Jeez.
When I walked on that stage.
Wow.
And as I walked down, there are 2 levels. I walked down to the second level, and the video screen came on, and none other than Elaine LaLanne was on the screen.
Yes.
And it just touched my heart because she sent out a message to the world about how she saw Jack in me at that very moment. She said Jack would always visualize the end of a swim, whether it be going from Alcatraz to San Francisco, or, he did some crazy, amazing
handcuffed and shackled.
Handcuffed and shackled. And she says the thing about it is he always visualized himself at the end of it succeeding. And she said at the end of her little commentary, Greg, I see you as the winner. And it just made me smile.
Wow.
And then my group of training buddies here in Kansas City came up on the screen, and that just made me smile again. And then I turned to look down this monstrosity of a course, and to the left on the sideline, I saw my family and some wonderful friends and other ninja competitors. A good friend of ours, mutual friend of ours, Dan Isaacson, was there on the sideline.
Love Dan.
And that again made me smile. So 3 times in a row, it just boom, 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 hit me, hit me, hit me. And I looked down that course and I smiled, took a deep breath. And in my head, I said, you were built for this. And it did 3 beats and I just took off. And I got to tell you, I had the time of my life. The run didn't last as long as I had envisioned it lasting.
Hold up,
but it
stop.
lasted as long as anyone my age had ever lasted. And the coolest thing is, I made it through the first one, and I was going cautiously through the first one because I was really in my head. It's like, don't mess this first one up. Don't mess this first one up. And so I got through the first one, and then the second one was a high flying one. And I think in the 17-year history of the show, no one my age had ever made it through the high-flying second obstacle.
Yep.
And so once I did that, and my glasses flew off, and I was kind of like, whoa, I can't see, I'm kind of blind without them.
You can't see.
and it's funny because you'll see, I'm in 3 of the national commercials.
Yes.
Leading up to the event.
I've been seeing
and one of them, you can see me holding my glasses, trying to get myself back into rhythm. And then when I hit that balance obstacle, the spinning logs, the amazing thing is I'd watched so many of these top tier athletes fall on that very obstacle this season before I had gone. And I'm like, okay, just, get that out of your head. I've been practicing leading up to it because we get to see the obstacles, but we don't get to try the obstacles. The first time you get to try the obstacles is when you see them.
Yeah.
So in my head, I visualize. And when I hit that third obstacle and I hit the second or third spinning log, and it spun me into a frenzy. And I got to tell you, 2 things happened simultaneously that are absolutely contradictory. I hit hyperspeed and slow motion at the same moment. And I can't tell you how many thoughts raced through my head, including save it, grab the log, hang on, get your feet up, and oh my goodness, you've knocked the air out of yourself. You can't breathe. My ribs hurt. And all of a sudden I'm drowning in a pool of water that seemed like it was 100 feet long or deep. And am I going to make it to the top? So it was like hyperspeed and then slow motion at the same time. And as I got to the top of the water, I realized, okay, I'm alive. I'm okay. My ribs hurt, but I gave them the thumbs up, letting them know that I'm okay. But again, my glasses flew off and I knew they were at the bottom of that pool somewhere. I had no idea where, but I got to the side of the pool, pulled myself up, went into the post-run interview. And the only thing I could think of was the famous Jack LaLanne quote, because that was one of the reasons, and I want to talk about that too. One of the main reasons I did this was to honor Jack LaLanne and to have him featured as part of my story. And the quote that came to my mind when I talked to Zuri on the sideline there, as you saw, I said, Zuri, you know, as my mentor said, your health account and your bank account are the same. Mm-hmm. The more you put in, the more you can take out. And at this very moment, I just took out a big deposit because what I had done leading up to that moment, I had put so much work. I'd put so many deposits into my health bank that it allowed me to do something that probably most people my age wouldn't even imagine doing. And, you know, I don't say this in any arrogant way. I'm just saying that I had made so many deposits into my health account that I wanted to take a little bit out and see what I had in the tank. And to be honest with you, I have a whole lot left because I've put so much in.
Greg, most people any age don't do that, let alone in their 60s. And I just want to let you know how proud I am of you. I just seeing you do your thing. I've been watching you for years at the training gym in Kansas City, and you just meticulously working on all your climbing and grip and that. And to see you actually go through the course, the joy that I know you experience was just so fulfilling. I loved seeing you just live what you've been doing. And it is awesome. And then to see Elaine, like you said, I know what she means to you. I actually saw you. I don't know if you guys could experience, but when Greg was talking about Elaine and his family there, he got emotional. And I was trying to stop you because I want to ask why. But you have these euphoric moments on TV when everything just comes to a head and a pinnacle. And to see you up on that platform, and the humility, but the pride that you had was just, I was beaming. I was beaming watching you, brother. So
oh, I appreciate that.
Thank you for making everyone proud. You really, the fitness community, trainers, coaches, old and young, it doesn't matter your age. You made us all proud. And I felt like there was a sliver of me up there. I know a lot of the mastermind members felt a little sliver of them, and everyone's cheering Greg. And we had the people at the Durkin household all fired up, and we got the kids, you know, cheering for Greg. And it was just an awesome, awesome experience. So thank you. Thank you for how you showed up, man. It was really cool to see.
Well, honestly, Todd, I appreciate those words. And I felt everybody, all of the Todd Durkin mastermind group and my fitness family and my immediate blood family. Yeah. And just, I felt the support and I felt the love. And, you know, I did it for everybody, because I'm just passing on the legacy from which I came, which is the Jack LaLanne legacy of helping people help themselves through exercise and proper nutrition. And that's the legacy we're going to pass on to the next generation to even make it better.
Greg, I'm always, heck, you're an accomplished author with how many books? 30 something books. And obviously as a partner in Scripter Publishing Company, I always think of in terms of like the framework, but if you can say there were 3 to 5 overarching themes or lessons in your American Ninja Warrior experience, what would be a few of those lessons that you would now take away now that the show is run and America has seen what you've done? What would be some of the lessons that you could almost write a book about right here on the podcast?
Well, I think number one is you always hear people talk about age and how they say age is just a number. Yeah. But I disagree. I think age is so much more than just a number. I honestly believe that age is experiential knowledge. Age is wisdom. age is an invitation and an opportunity to do so much more. And you can take so much into what you're doing from all that experiential knowledge of the age you are.
Preach.
So it's so much more than just a number. And I say, embrace your age and use it to your advantage. And it's a blessing. It's a gift from God. Every year that we get is a gift from God. So don't look at it as just a number.
Preach.
It's so much more.
Can you see
So
why I like
much
this guy? I love it.
more.
There you go.
No,
There's the first one. We can stop there, but maybe a couple more.
Yeah. And then mindset, how important mindset is. And I had to practice some of that in my experience because, you know, a lot of people think that TV is glamorous and some parts of it can be, but a lot of it isn't. What they don't see, the behind the scenes.
That's right.
The athlete's tent is, you know, in Las Vegas, you're in the middle of a desert in a tent with a hard floor. And that was, you know, I'm a rookie at this game, so I didn't understand. A lot of these athletes who had been there 5, 10, 15 years, they knew to bring an air mattress because that ground is hard in the desert. And I didn't have an air mattress. This old dog.
What month was it filmed in?
Okay, so it was filmed at the end of September.
It's still hot.
Yeah, so but you know, that was okay. The heat wasn't terrible.
Okay.
What was interesting is you don't think about, you're in the middle of a desert. There's a lot of fine sand. So what I found is my nose was drying out. My throat was dry. I couldn't drink enough water because the more water I drank, the more times I had to go to the bathroom.
Oh my gosh.
It's just kind of an endless cycle.
Yep.
And I could feel myself at one point because, as I mentioned earlier, I'd been up 26 consecutive hours before I got on the stage and 36 consecutive hours before I fell asleep on the plane coming home. And it was about a 30-minute nap. But I had so much adrenaline going through
100%.
me. And honestly, I'm feeling some of that adrenaline right now.
I can feel it.
Going through it and remembering it because it just makes me so excited to relive it. But at the time, I caught myself in that athlete's tent on that hard floor, trying to get comfortable to get my mind right and thinking, this isn't what I signed up for. I don't like this. I don't want to be here. And then I caught myself and I thought, Greg, slap yourself upside the head. Get your mind right. This is exactly what you signed up for.
Let's go. Get your mind right.
Let's go. And that's what I caught myself because I teach that. I wrote a book on mindset with, you know, one of the NFL legends, Art Still, called Mindset Over, Mind Over Head Chatter. And I had to relive some of those lessons that I taught my athletes, and I had to practice those at that moment. But it was good that I was able to catch myself and say, get your mind right. You did sign up for this. This is exactly what you signed up for. You get yourself in the right mindset and you get out there and you go. And I did. So that's, the second, it's getting your mind right, keeping your mind right. And then the third lesson is understanding that the only limitation that is on you is what you put on you. And don't use your age. Don't use your negative mindset. You get your mind right and you set in your own head what you can do, and then you go and do it. And that doesn't mean every single time, because I got to tell you, Todd, this sport has a very high failure rate. I just posted a video earlier today about a big fall that I had from about 12 feet high last night when I was doing some ninja training. The failure rate is high, and it's very unforgiving because one little slip up cost my entire season, on the show last night. One little slip up. Yep. But I also watched some of the top tier ninjas fall at that very same spot this year. The good thing is for me, I'm a rookie, right? That's how far I made it. That's okay. I'll watch the video over and over and over, and I'll learn from that because I learned from my mistakes. And now I'm setting my goals not just on getting past that balance obstacle. What I have in my head, what the vision that I see is getting through the entire course. Not just because I'm 65 and going, hey, you did pretty well for a 65-year-old. I want to get to the end of that course and hit that buzzer because I see myself and I know I can do it. That's the next step for me. The rookie year is behind me. Now my sophomore year is coming up in the sport and I'm ready to go.
Are you saying you're going to make a comeback?
Or a comeback? I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie.
So there's going to be another season of Greg.
I'm going until they say, Greg, you cannot come back. Greg is going to be there, and Greg is not going to just finish the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth obstacle. Greg's going to hit that buzzer on the top of that 14.5-foot warped wall because I can.
Wow. There's 3 great nuggets right there for you. I want to add 1 or 2, Greg. I want to add 1 or 2 because you're living it right now. You're living your best life because I've known you for a while and you're living life right at Mach speed and full speed ahead. One of them I add here in number 4 would be never stop trying. And you just alluded to it, like never stop going. You're going to go again. And the reason I share that, I'm going to step back because it deals with mindset. You also had a setback a few years ago. If you remember, you had, right? Talk about that setback and what that could have done because you had a pretty nasty lower body injury. Talk about what happened.
Yeah, so it happened on an obstacle that I'd always struggled on. It was what's called a lateral lache, where you're moving sideways and jumping to a swinging bridge that moves sideways.
Yep.
And so as I jumped, and I'm about 10 feet up, I jumped and my front hand hit the swinging bridge, which means I couldn't grab it with my other hand. I took a fall and broke my malleolus on my left ankle. And now, I've got some parts in there to keep it all together, some screws in there. But at the moment I did it, I felt the ankle break. I knew it was broken. And of course it swelled up 2 or 3 times its size. So instinctively I knew this is going to set you back. It happened almost 3 years ago as we sit here right now. It was June 3 years ago. And so the next day I went and got it x-rayed, and of course malleolus broken. And the following Friday went in and had it surgically repaired. Then I didn't take any pain medication. The only medication was when they put me under to do the surgery. Yeah, the surgery. And didn't take any pain medication. The Saturday after I had the surgery, so I had surgery on Friday. On Saturday evening, I went up to my gym. I sat down in front on a chair, folding chair, put it in front of an endless rope. I lifted my broken ankle up on the crossbar on the endless rope, and I started climbing. And I was climbing. And at that very moment, I thought, this is actually going to be good for you. Because I knew that I could get my upper body in the recovery time that I had, because I knew I wasn't going to be back in the gym for any time soon, into the ninja gym.
Sure.
But I had the advantage of having endless rope on my side. And I put every single day for the next 6 to 9 months, I sat there with my ankle up on the endless rope, and I climbed and I climbed and I climbed. I can't tell you how many miles I climbed. And then my very first trip back into that ninja gym, because I wasn't going to let that accident live rent-free in my head. I walked into the ninja gym. I walked over to the obstacle that I broke my ankle on. I got up on it. I did 2 swings back and jumped, and I nailed that same move that I'd broken my ankle on.
Let's go.
And then I started doing that move over and over and over again. And I got to tell you, not only is it A move that I don't struggle with at all is some move that I used to really be. It used to really be in my head. Now I don't even think about it. It's a move that because I had developed my upper body strength thanks to endless rope and mindset, because I wasn't going to let a setback. And I do that in parentheses because honestly, it wasn't a setback. It was actually an advantage because it made me get better at some of the things that I knew that I could get better at.
The old dog got better. The old dog got better.
The old dog had to learn some new tricks. And I did, quite frankly. I'm better at so many things because of that broken ankle. And here we are 3 years with that in the rear view. But you know the old saying, that rear view is a lot smaller than that front windshield because I'm looking forward, not back.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Number 4, never stop trying. Keep looking in the front windshield, not the rear view mirror. So, Greg, you epitomize that. And I'd add also the last one, and you just to bring it full circle back to Jack LaLanne, because I know what Jack LaLanne has meant to your life as well. I know your relationship with Elaine LaLanne and what you guys are working on with the Jack LaLanne movie to come out here in the near future, and all the things that Elaine's doing at 99 years young on that. And I put down here, like, your health is your wealth. And you've mentioned what, the quote before about what you shared about your health account and your bank account and how they're synonymous. What do you take away from that? Because you lost your health with your broken malleolus, and you've had ups and downs throughout your career. And you, as a coach, as a trainer, as the founder of AYC Fitness in Kansas City, you know what health is all about. But expand on that, because you're living it now at almost 65 years young. You're living it. And when I say you're living your best life, you are a testament and a witness to the mindset, the soul set, and the health set that it takes to operate as your best self. So can you touch on that? Because you didn't mention that as one of your lessons, but I look at you as someone that is living your best life right now.
Well, yeah, I am, again, because I'm looking in that front windshield. Right. I'm looking at just such an expanded future, because, I literally wake up every single morning, and the first thing I do consciously, and now it's even become subconsciously, and I've shared this with you before. It's a chapter that I wrote in a book, Mindset Over Matter, and it's an acronym, BEDWAS. I begin every day with a smile. It changes the chemistry in your brain. I wake up with zero pain. I don't have any joint issues, even after having broken my ankle and my doctor saying, now there's very likely you're going to have arthritis in that ankle. And I said, no, thank you. And other people say, wait a minute, you mean your hips, your knees, your shoulders, nothing bothers you? And I say, no, they don't. No, thank you. I'm not interested in that. I wake up with a smile. I wake up with a positive attitude. So I think as much as anything is, don't listen to others try to tell you and define you and tell you what you should be. And that happened to me, Todd, going all the way back to high school. In my senior year of high school, my academic counselor told me, Greg, you should probably look into a trade school. You're probably not college material. And I let her define who I was for the first 2 years of my college life. I let that statement define who I was. And I had a 1.4 GPA coming out of my sophomore year in college. And then something clicked. Something literally clicked in my brain, and I found exercise science and started down a path of majoring in exercise science, exercise physiology, kinesiology, finding a passion, graduating with a 4.0 GPA, getting my master's degree with a 4.0 GPA, because I didn't let that high school counselor define who I was going to be. So don't listen to other people and their limitations of you. You decide what you want to be, where you want to go. Then you look in that front windshield. Quit looking in the rearview mirror. And who told you what you couldn't do?
We are
and go
talking to the American Ninja Warrior himself, Greg Justice. He's still on the platform. He's still fired up because, my goodness, this is the pinnacle right now of his life coming into the Ninja Warrior and all that he's worked for on all aspects. And I'm loving hearing this, Greg. Bedwas, what does that mean again?
Bedwas, BEDWAS.
What does it stand for?
Begin
Yep.
every day with a smile. Bedwas.
Y'all get that?
Make that the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning. Smile. It changes the chemistry in your brain.
I love that.
It starts your day right. It just starts your day right.
I love that. When you said that a few years ago, we were palling around and you said, I'm like, that is just a beautiful statement right there. I want to make sure y'all grab that. Begin every day with a smile.
Well, and I've added something to that thanks to Pastor Miles. So with that beginning every day with a smile, I do a big cleansing breath. And you remember what Pastor Miles says with that cleansing breath. Yahweh.
Yeah.
So start your day with that smile, big cleansing breath. Yahweh, be grateful to the good Lord above that you've got another day, a blessed day on this earth to impact. You may have heard that term impact, right?
Somewhere I've heard it. I'm somewhere.
Again, every single day, and I talked about it earlier with age. Quit looking at age as a curse. It's a blessing. It's a gift from God.
Goodness. Greg, I'm just curious. How has this experience changed you? I mean, it's amazing to see and hear just how you're thriving now, having seen just what happened on American Ninja Warrior. And that was just the pinnacle, regardless if you fell on the first rung or whatnot, but you didn't, by the way, but whatever you did, you competed. How has this entire experience, including the process of training for it, how has it changed you? Not physically, but personally, spiritually. What has it done for you?
It's fired me up. It's showed me, again, I'm a 64-year-old rookie. I've got there are a lot of those athletes that have been there 10, 12, 15 or more years. It's a 17-year-old show. I've watched every single episode of every single year. And in my head, I said, you could do that, Greg. And I can, and I am going to continue to do it. So I'm just a rookie. So I'm so fired up. I think that's what this experience has done for me, is it's rekindled a competitive fire in me that makes me see so much more, because I look back at the video. I'm a big visual learner, and I watch tape just like a football coach watches tape. I watch tape of myself and other ninjas, and I go, oh, my hips are too low. Oh, I over-rotated. I watch that stuff. I study it, and I learn. And now I see tape from myself 5 years ago, 3 years ago, and last night, and I see market improvement. I see, whoa, 5 years ago at 60, I am nowhere near, when I was a kid at 60. Now I'm almost 65, and I am light years ahead of where I was 5 years when I was way younger, just a kid at 60.
So when did you get into it? When did you actually start?
Just before my 60th birthday.
So you were 59 is when you, so if someone's like, I can never do that, your advice to them would be what?
My advice would be, or I would just say what Henry Ford said. If you believe you can, or if you believe you can't, you're right. It's what you put and what you limit yourself in your head to, or what you open your head to, your mindset to. Do you have a closed mindset? Do you have an open mindset? Yes, I can, or no, I can't. The choice is you. And the choice that you make today is the result of what you will experience tomorrow.
And guys, it doesn't need to necessarily relate to American Ninja Warrior. You may not want to do that, right? It's anything
in life.
It's anything on that. So I'm just curious, as we wrap up today's show, what's next? Like now that you're through this and perform so admirably, what's on your mind? Where are you at? Are you writing another book? Are you already training for the next American Ninja Warrior? What's next for Greg Justice?
Yeah, well, I think I'm working on a book with the legendary P90X creator,
Right.
Tony Horton, a mutual friend of ours, and it's a book called Vitality 60 Plus. And it talks about all the things, Todd, that we have just covered in this podcast. It talks about having the open mind, understanding that age doesn't limit you or shouldn't limit you. Be open to experience, be open to opportunity, and decide that, yes, you can. And again, it doesn't have to be American Ninja Warrior. It could be starting a new business. You and I know a mutual friend named Dave Sider, who at 70 years old didn't retire. He rewired.
Amen.
That's the mindset that we want to push. Forget about this retire nonsense.
Yep.
Retire is, I've said it. In fact, I said it on the show. If you saw the clip, they asked me about aging, and I said, I don't mind getting old. I just don't want to be old when I get there.
I love that. When I heard that. That was great. Oh man, shout out to Sider. He was on a few episodes ago, and the wisdom that man has, I love them all together, and I'm really, really proud to share our incredible community here on the Impact Show with your amazing, amazing story, Greg. Just on a final reflection here, when we think about your victory. I mean, this is a victory on a lot of levels for you.
The only way I can look at it. Absolutely.
Right. Like, what does that mean? Like, taking all of these last few weeks, months, years, and putting it all into this time, what does it mean if you reflect here and you think into some final statements? I mean, I think a legacy. I think of like, this is a defining moment. I think of so many things, but instead of me saying it, where's your mind at?
Well, Todd, for the last 40 plus years, I have trained other people physically, with mindset, all of that stuff. And in a reflective context, I felt like it was my time to step up and to do something that I've always worked for others to do. I've always said that I'm in the business of making dreams come true, whether it be with somebody with their health and fitness or with somebody with a manuscript to publish a book. I want to make those dreams come true. And just reflectively, I just got the experience of a lifetime and was able to make my dream come true and to further the legacy of somebody, Jack LaLanne, and the LaLanne brand, Elaine LaLanne, the entire LaLanne family, that has meant so much to my life, has impacted my life so much that I was able to experience one of my dreams. And this is not the pinnacle, because when you go to sleep at night and you have a dream, you wake up and the next day is another day and you get to go to bed and you get the opportunity to perhaps have another dream come true. And you know what? It's not the pinnacle. It's just my rookie season. I'm training now for year number 2. I'm visualizing myself at the top of that 14. I can see it right now with my eyes closed, getting to the top of that 14.5-foot wall.
Let's go.
And hitting that buzzer, looking over at Akbar and Matt, smiling and saying, I knew I was going to do this.
Wow. Greg, thank you. Just for being you, man. The world needs more Greg Justice. The world needs more of people like you. And I just want to say thank you for not only just showing up at A&W, obviously, but every day. And I've known you for a long, long time, and you've always been there. You always show up. You're always in the room. And just the man, the husband, the father, the friend, the colleague, the teammate that you are. I just want to say thank you for everything. And I love that this light is shining on you right now, and you're just taking it, deflecting, and putting it right back into the universe. So, brother, you're the best. Thank you.
Well,
Thank
Todd,
you.
From the bottom of my heart, sincerely, 3 men have impacted my business and life profoundly. They are Jack LaLanne, Fred Hatfield, and Todd Durkin. So thank you for being a mentor. And there are many other men in my life that have impacted me. But from a pure mentorship, thank you for all that you do and for having me be allowed to share one of my dreams coming true through the experience of American Ninja Warrior.
Wow. Thank you, Greg. If someone wants to follow you, where's the best place they can follow you? Obviously, you're not done. You got a long way to go. So what's the best place, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, website? What is it?
Yeah, well, my website, gregjustice.com, and on both Facebook and Instagram, gregjustice1. You know what? I would love for anyone, if anyone wants to just connect and say, hey, how are you? I'd be honored. And I just appreciate you, Todd. I appreciate Impact and all that that has meant to my life, and everybody in the mastermind. Each of you was with me on that run, and I carry you with me as I go forward, as we all go up that wall to hit the buzzer.
Greg, thank you very much, guys. Greg Justice, what a run, what a showing. Old dog, new tricks. There you go. Look at that. Old dog, new trick ninja. Greg Justice, you the man. Appreciate you, brother. Love you, man. Are you drowning in to-dos, feeling like you're doing everything yourself, yet your business still isn't scaling the way you want it or you know it should? Here's the truth. You don't need to hire another VA or buy another course, and you definitely don't need to work even more. You need a team, a boardroom of coaches that actually helps you grow. That's exactly what the boardroom is. It's a 6-month private coaching, business and life redesign experience where you're going to get, number one, a business strategist, a marketing expert, a financial coach, and me, yours truly, as your personal life coach. 2, a crystal clear growth strategy tailored to meet your goals, your needs, your desires, and your dreams. And lastly, accountability. You're going to get a team to hold you accountable every single week so that we can achieve what you want to achieve. It's like hiring 4 high-level executives for less than the cost of 1 part-time VA. We start this July, and there's only 10 seats available. If you want to dominate the second half of 2025, now is the time. This is it. Apply now over at todddurkin.com, todddurkin.com/TDMastermind, TDMastermind, or just DM me, Boardroom. Yep, DM me, Boardroom, and I can't wait to talk with you real soon. Apply now.